Hey, this is Sister Sharon coming to you today on this Wednesday. It's the day of the Lord has made, and let us rejoice and be glad therein. And at the moment, I'm paying for a so praise the Lord for that, and have a little bit of stress. So anyway, what strength I have, or what time of day, I want to give it back to God for His goodness and mercy. Okay, the title today is going to be, Is God Really a Good God? What does it mean to be good? Jesus gives an illustration about being good. He said, ask and it will be given unto you, seek and you will find, and knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone who asks will receive, and he that who seeketh findeth, and to him who knocketh it will be opened. Oh, what man is there among you of your son that'll ask for bread? Will you give him a stone? Or if he asks you for fish, will you give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, know how good it is to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give to those who ask him? And you'll read up on that in Matthew 7, verses 7 through 11. Let us give you an illustration before we talk about this one. A little boy I will call Johnny decided he would like to make some money. He had some good motives. He wanted to help his widowed mother to make ends meet. So he asked if she would let him work for the neighbor's farmer who went to their church. Johnny's mother talked to the farmer and he agreed to hire Johnny. In fact, he started the following Saturday. Johnny got up early on Saturday morning. He packed a lunch and off to work he went. The farmer told him he would like for him to plant some pumpkins and walked out of the field with him to show him how to plant and how he wanted it done. I want you to take this stick and poke a hole in the ground, the farmer said. Then take one of the pumpkin seeds and drop it into the hole. Cover the hole and take 2 steps down the row towards the end of the field, and then do it again. When you get to the end, take several steps sideways, then come up the field and do the same thing again up on the other way. Johnny was so pleased. It sounded so easy. His chest swelled up and he thought of the money that he would take home to his mother at the end of the day. The farmer watched him plant several seeds and smiled. It will be a pretty warm by the time you get her done, he said. If you want to, you could take a dip in the creek now and then. He walked back to the barn and leaving Johnny all to himself. Johnny kept on working. Soon he was at the end of the field and stopped for a little break. He looked at the seeds in his pail and then the other ones at the field. Wow, this was a big field. So he thought. But then he squirreled his shoulders and started it all over again. Punch a hole, drop a seed. Punch a hole, drop a seed. Punch a hole and drop a seed. For some reason, the second row seemed to take longer than the first row because it was getting wet. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and glanced at the sky. Surely it must be almost lunchtime, but no, the sun wasn't even halfway up yet to the top yet. He glanced at his pail and he was going to take a long time to empty this pail, he murmured. But pumpkin seeds don't plant themselves, so he started on the third row. However, his earlier happiness was gone, and the row seems longer than ever. He finally reached to the other end and looked at his pail again. I'm going to be here all weekend at this rate, he said. He thought in dark despair. The pail looked almost full as it had when he started, and the field was much larger than he realized. And the sun, it wasn't even moving out of the sky. He wiped his sweat from his forehead. The sun might not be moving, but it sure was heating him up. He sighed and started half-heartedly on the fourth row of pumpkins. Punch a hole, drop a seed. Punch a hole, drop a seed. Punch a hole and drop a seed. About halfway down the road, he noticed that the level of his pail still looked about the same. This is impossible, he said. He's going to die out here in this field. Then he had an idea. I know what. I'll put 2 seeds in one hole, and this should speed up things. With punch a hole, drop 2 seeds. Punch a hole, drop 2 seeds. Punch a hole and drop 2 seeds. That helped for a little while, but not much. Several rolls later, he decided he wasn't getting anywhere. Surely Farmer Joe had realized that he had been gone for so long. Maybe he had never even grown pumpkins before. Anyway, it was time to change his routine again. Punch a hole, drop 4 seeds. Punch a hole, drop 4 seeds. Punch a hole, drop 4 seeds. That worked for a little while, but you guessed it. Soon it was punch a hole, drop 6 seeds. Punch a hole and drop 6 seeds. Then it became punch a hole, drop 10 seeds. Punch a hole, drop 10 seeds. But counting 10 seeds took too long, and he slowed them down again. And so he changed the routine again. Punch a hole and drop a handful. Punch a hole and drop a handful. Not too big of a handful, though, of course. At least not at first. But soon he didn't worry about it anymore. Punch a hole, drop a handful. Punch a hole, drop a handful. Down, and punch a hole and drop a handful. Now, at last, the pail was emptying at a much more satisfying rate. Then, when he finished, he noticed uneasily that he had planted about only a third of the field. But he shrugged. Farmer John. Then he had finished. He noticed uneasily that he had only planted 2/3 of the field. But he shrugged, and Farmer John hadn't said that he planted the whole field, just that he was to plant all the seeds. So now he could go swimming. A week went by, and for some reason Farmer Joe hadn't have much work for him as he had expected. As Johnny helped his mother in the garden, he enjoyed watching his seeds grow and the little shoots popping up. That Saturday night, like a flash of lightning, it suddenly dawned on him that the pumpkin seeds in the farmer were already germinated. His face blanched, and he thought of the handfuls of seed he had dropped in the holes. Will they grow? Then, when Johnny went to bed that night, he knelt in his bed and prayed. Dear Lord, he asked God to bless his mother and his little sister. He asked God to watch over them that night. And he gulped a little and said, please, God, would you mind keeping those extra seeds from growing? Please, God. And did you get that? Dear God, please don't let those extra seeds grow. Please, God. Sure enough, the next morning, Johnny ran into the Farmer's Joe at church, and he took one look at the Farmer Joe's, and he knew God hadn't answered his prayer. Oh, mercy. This is a little story, and you'll probably chuckle at it, but it's to let you think for a little while. Does God know what it's like to be a young boy, to plant seeds in a field and get tired? Or maybe the field wasn't huge, and it was seemed like that the way to Johnny and that cool creek had beckoned him all morning. Couldn't God have given him a break? It had been easy for him to stop some of those seeds from growing. What would you have done if you were in God's shoes? Why, would a good God allow Johnny to get away with this? Or would he have decided that it was better for Johnny to learn a lesson and learn that you have to do things the proper way, and that a person who sows will always reap? All right, so how's that? So yes, sir, that was a good story, because you reap what you sow. You can only plant one, poke a hole and plant a seed. So anyway, that's the way it is with us with God. If we go around our life and trying to preach the gospel and throwing handfuls of seeds out, they're not all going to grow. You got to go slow. You got to work with babes, and you got to be at God's will. Let God move through you, and slowly plant the seeds. Shake a hand and plant a seed. That's what our token is. So anyway, that's a good story. So I wanted to sing a song for you. So hope you enjoy it. All right, I miss Keith on here playing with me, because I like his backup. So I hope you enjoy it. As the devil God bless.